welcome viewers. You're watching Times Now. I'm Richa Sharma and we are starting with some breaking news coming in as far as the brutal murder of Sidhu Moosewala is concerned, where according to sources that we have been speaking to here on Times Now, they have now stated as far as the entire incident is concerned, there were about 7 bullets that had hit Moosewala. We also have spoken to the district medical doctor who was heading this entire team, who also conducted the post-mortem of Moosewala, whose last trials are being conducted today. But the big news is that there have been a total of 7 bullets that have hit. This is a murder that is only getting murkier with more and more twists emerging. The angle of, in fact, even gangs that are also now emerging. Bhavtosh joining us on this broadcast. Yes, Bhavtosh, take our viewers through what more details are you picking up?
Well, it now appears that the gangs and criminals in Punjab who operate from Haryana and Delhi have complete control as far as the music industry goes, and it's being feared that 2 Punjab-based singers have a very high threat perception. In fact, these 2 Punjab-based singers, we have names of them, but because of the high threat perception they have, their names are not being revealed, and these 2 Punjab-based singers closely work, or they in fact work in association with these gangs. Now these gangs are the same gangs that in fact are involved in killing of Vicky Midhukhera and also in the killing of Sidhu Moosewala. These 2 singers are also involved in settling scores among the rivals and also settling scores between different camps. Now what has happened in Punjab in past few years is that singers have been releasing their albums on social media and on YouTube. Now this means instant revenue for them, but at same time it also means rivalry among different groups. Now releasing and making of songs in Punjab is very cheap, and it also means instant popularity. This has led different gangs to enter into music industry, because there is no big studios and no big albums that are now in Punjab, for that matter even in the country, and that void has been filled by these gangs. Now gangs virtually control these singers, but as far as these 2 singers are concerned, they have a very high threat perception, and questioning of gangs as well as criminals by various agencies, by various law enforcing agencies, have revealed that these 2 singers have very high threat perception, and this information has been passed to Punjab police. One of these singers' manager is directly involved in the killing of Sidhu Moosewala. This information was passed on by a criminal who was recently arrested by the Delhi police, and when he was questioned, he said the manager was also involved in the planning and killing of Sidhu Moosewala.
Right.
He was one of the 8 persons who is under the scanner of Punjab police.
So several twists and turns that are now emerging. Bhavtosh, please continue to stay with us. Let me also now go across to Gurpreet joining us live on this broadcast. And Gurpreet, even as we have been getting in visuals of the last journey of Sidhu Moosewala, where hundreds and hundreds of fans have gathered, more and more in fact twists are now emerging as far as the investigation is concerned. The latest that Bhavtosh is getting for us, there were a total of 7 bullets that were lodged into Sidhu Moosewala while he was traveling in that car, and how he was ambushed as well as in a way murdered so brutally in broad daylight.
Well, yes, of course, if we can talk about investigation part, investigation is already underway. As of now, we have reached at Sidhu Moosewala's residence, where we are showing these visuals. We will try to tell each and every visual to our viewer that what is happening at this point of time. We can see from this Haveli which we are showing on the screen at this point of time, we can see these visuals. A huge tent had been set up inside, and I'll request my VJ to zoom in to just show these visuals from that Haveli. Of the people, they are standing in queues. We see that because a lot of people across Punjab, not only from Punjab, from various states. They have come here, they have turned up here, they are waiting for their turn because they wanted to pay last respect. So I'll request my Vijay to just pan your camera and show each and every visual from the ground, what is happening at the ground at this point of time. So we can see huge bandobast of this police, because the police have been deployed here. Top officer, they are already been here. A few minutes ago, we had a word with the SSP when he was having a round here. He was taking a stock of the situation at the ground. At the time, he was saying they have already got a lead, but the priority is there should not be disturbance of law and order. So the whole force of this district had been deployed here to maintain law and order situation. So I'll request my Vijay to zoom in and show these few visuals where we can see that the top officer, they are trying to advise the people who have come from the various states. They are talking to them. They are saying there is a huge queue. And I'll request my Vijay to show that entry gate of this Haveli to show that how the people, they are standing in the queue to just pay last respect. This is the earning of Sidhu Musewala as a youth icon, as a singer also. The way he has been singing the songs. Some of the supporters who are also present here, so we will also talk to them. हम बात करते हैं, कुछ लोग यहाँ भी हैं हमारे साथ, उनसे भी बात करते हैं. तो आज सिद्धू मूसेवाला हमारे में नहीं रहा, तो आप कहाँ से आए हैं? तो कभी मिले हैं क्या?
मानसा रहते हैं वैसे।
मानसा डिस्ट्रिक्ट से आए हैं, तो क्या लगता है कि बहुत बड़ा लॉस हुआ?
बड़ा भारी हुआ भाई, बहुत बड़ा दुख हुआ है।
बहुत बड़ा दुख हुआ। तो आप कहाँ से आए हैं? क्या लगता है कि बहुत बड़ा दुख हुआ? आप कहाँ से आए हैं? So there is people who are reluctant to speak on camera, but we've seen a huge number of fans. They have already been reached here. So we are telling, we are showing views, this visuals from the ground.
Absolutely, and several new angles, and the people out there, these are fans of Sidhu Musewala who have been, in fact, been devastated post the news of his demise has been reported. And going back once again to Bhavtosh, and Bhavtosh, before we come back to you, we have some more breaking news coming in. More and more details emerging as far as the investigation is concerned. And the police is now questioning Lawrence Bishnoi. Remember, there are two Punjabi singers who are also likely to be involved in this case, and how the Musewala assassination probe and exclusive details that we have access to on Times Now reveals this is possibly also an angle of rivalry that is now being investigated into, because remember, there are two other Punjab-based singers that are now under the lens. There is a threat perception of the singers that are absolutely high, that you were also talking about, Bhavtosh. Take our viewers through what is the investigation revealing.
Well, Richa, it's more or less clear that the music industry in Punjab is completely in control of these gangsters. These gangsters are from Haryana, and then they virtually had a control of Punjab, and they were now trying to move towards Delhi. But the lucrative music industry in Punjab had virtually, they have now tentacles in Punjab, and these singers who now release their music on social media, they now virtually take every directions from these gangsters. Now, what we have gathered from our sources is that two singers, these two prominent singers, are getting very many threats from these gangs, and these gangs are the same gangs which were involved in killing of Sidhu Musewala and also of Vicky Medukheda. First, the gangs are Lawrence Bishnoi, Goldie Barar gang. The other one is of Lucky Patial and Kaushal Chaudhary and Devinder Bhambia gang. Now, these two singers are also under the scanner in the killing of Sidhu Musewala. The manager of one of these singers, in fact, his name cropped up during the questioning of a criminal who was arrested on 26th April by the CIU unit of the Delhi police. Now, it's very easy now to release music on social media, and the money that these singers are getting is also very huge. Now, to fill that void of no music album, or for that matter, no big prominent studio, these gangsters have now entered that field, and these two particular singers have a very close association with these criminals, and that's what has been conveyed to Punjab police that these two singers have a very high threat perception, and security of these two singers should be increased, or even if they don't have a security, then security should immediately be provided to them.
Absolutely, Bhavtosh, because as you were pointing out, this is a nexus that has now been exposed between the music industry as well as these gangsters. As you have been reporting, possibly how they have also penetrated into the sports field as well, and how the gangsters are now asking singers to possibly also promote the gun culture and crime, much like the Mumbai underworld of the early 90s, and how camps have been made, singers are identified which gang they belong to, and criminals that they owe their allegiance to.
Yes, what is very disturbing and distressing is the fact that these gangs and criminals virtually are calling the shots. Singers are being remote controlled. In Punjab, singers also, in fact, act in movies. These movies are also are amateurly produced and made, and these singers, in fact, have particular camps to which they owe their allegiance. These camps are also controlled by criminals and gangsters. And you rightly said that singers promote gun culture, they promote drugs, and that's what you see in these videos. And that's what people who, in fact, track terrorism, or for that matter gangs, they have said that what's happening in Punjab is very similar to what used to happen in Mumbai or then Bombay, that the shots are being called by criminals, by underworld, and that has in fact resulted in.
And it looks like they want to create a similar kind of atmosphere as far as the state of Punjab is concerned. But it is absolutely, in fact, shocking to say the least, because this is a bordering state that we are talking about here. Stay with us, Bhavtosh, even as the investigation is proceeding even further, more and more links are now emerging, and now the owner of the car who was used by the attackers in the case that has now been seized has now been tracked. In fact, Gurpreet also spoke to the owner. We listen to that conversation first.
Yesterday we have seen Sidhu Moosewala was killed in Mansa, and after that we have seen that attackers, shooters, they were able to escape from that spot. And what we have learned on the way from the gun point, they had robbed one Alto vehicle. The family which was traveling in Alto vehicle that is sitting with us, I'll request my Vijay to show the whole family. One son along with Jagtar Singh and his family members, all are sitting with us. So we will talk to narrate the whole story to our viewers, that what exactly happened there, what was the incident and how did it happen here. तो जगतार जी, सबसे पहले कल जब आप आ रहे थे, कहाँ से आ रहे थे, कहाँ ये इंसिडेंट हुआ?
सर जी, हम खड़क ਸਿੰਘ ਵਾਲੇ ਤੋਂ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ। ਖੜਕ ਸਿੰਘ ਵਾਲੇ ਤੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਖਾਰੇ ਕੋਲੇ ਆ ਗਏ ਜੀ। ਸਾਡੇ ਮੂਹਰੇ ਗੱਡੀ ਆ ਗਈ ਜੀ ਪੂਰੀ ਸਪੀਡ ਨਾਲ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਰੋਕ ਲਿਆ ਜੀ। ਰੋਕ ਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਰਮਾਲਵਾਰ ਦਿਖਾ ਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨਾਲੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਹੋ ਜਾਓ ਗੱਡੀ ਤੋਂ, ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਗੋਲੀ ਮਾਰ ਦਾਂਗੇ। ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਡੀ ਛੁੱਟ ਕੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਜੀ। ਬਸ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਉਹ ਗੱਡੀ 'ਚ ਬਹਿ ਗਏ 3-4 ਬੰਦੇ।
कौन सी गाड़ी थी, कौन सी गाड़ी में आ रहे थे? जब उन्होंने आपको ओवरटेक किया, आपकी गाड़ी रोकी गई, जहाँ आपने खुद रोकी, जहाँ डर गए, जहाँ सहम गए, क्या हुआ?
सर जी डर गए ਅਸੀਂ। ਸਾਡੇ ਮੂਹਰੇ ਗੱਡੀ ਲਾਤੀ ਜੀ ਸੜਕ ਪਰ, ਜਮਾ ਮੂਹਰੇ ਲਾਤੀ ਜੀ ਗੱਡੀ।
कौन सी गाड़ी थी वो?
ਕਰੋਨਾ ਜੀ, ਆਪਣਾ ਕਰੋਲਾ जी। हाँ जी सर जी।
एकदम से लगा दी तो फिर क्या हुआ?
एकदम से लगाती जी, एक मगर बोलेरो लगाती जी। उसने जो सानू धमकियाँ दी हैं जी गाड़ी में, कहने भी गाड़ी में बाहर निकल जाओ, नहीं हम तुम्हारे को मार देंगे जान से। हमने बच्चे, मेरी माता, हम असी बाहर निकल गए।